Let's talk about one of the best things the MCU has ever done, in my opinion. Daredevil Born Again Season 2 finale is one of the best things that Marvel Studios has ever done, and one of the best things for the Daredevil character in any medium, in my opinion. So, in this episode, shit really hits the fan, right? So, in this episode, you have Matt Murdock versus Fisk versus Wilson Fisk in a courtroom. Matt reveals his identity as Daredevil. Yes. And keep in mind, guys, this video will contain spoilers for the MCU up to this point, and also it might contain spoilers for what they're doing in season 3, because I have a few predictions for what they're doing in season 3 and in the MCU's future, right? So I just wanted to let you guys know that. Also, to let you guys know, I want to become an actor one day, right? And Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are two of my biggest acting inspirations. Like, they're two of my favorite actors. So they're two of my biggest acting inspirations. So this comes from a guy that wants to act one day. And this comes from a big comic book nerd. And this comes from a massive fan of the Daredevil character. If you guys have been watching me for any amount of time, you guys should know how much I love the Daredevil character, and I look up to the Daredevil character, right? So, yeah, but this episode was insane. So, as I said, like, Matt reveals his identity as Daredevil to the whole world, and Fisk loses control. I would say this episode has Matt Murdock fully embracing being Daredevil full time, right? And I say fully embracing being Daredevil the whole time because of what they do at the end of the episode, which gets me really excited for season 3. And then it has Wilson Fisk fully embracing the Kingpin identity full time. Because what happens is Wilson Fisk gets deported because once Matt Murdock reveals his identity as Daredevil, what can Matt Murdock do as Daredevil that Matt Murdock, the lawyer, can't do? He can say, hey, I witnessed Fisk do this. I witnessed Fisk do this. Fisk has weapon shipments. Fisk blew up a ship, the North Star. Fisk did this. Fisk is just having, well, he says this as a lawyer before he reveals his identity, but he's like, Wilson Fisk has an obsession with one vigilante. And then Jessica Jones, the governor of New York, and they come walking in, and like you have all the vigilantes in this season. So you have White Tiger, you have Daredevil, you have Jessica, all sitting in one row, and then you have Team Fisk, which is Heather and Buck. Those are the only two Team Fisk members besides Fisk himself. So you have that happening, but Matt revealing his identity as Daredevil also has big ramifications for Matt Murdock's future, right? Which we'll talk about in a minute. But basically, once Fisk loses the court case, pretty much, once Karen gets saved by Matt in a legal sense, because he literally sacrifices his life, like, his life of freedom so that he can save Karen, right? And and uh and and Fisk's really upset. So Fisk is like, Fisk, you can tell Fisk is gonna lose it this episode, right? You like like, and for those of us that have been watching the Daredevil series since the very beginning, right? Since the Netflix days, right? We've seen Fisk lose it, but we haven't seen Fisk lose it to this extent before, right? Right? So Fisk is literally so angry because then the Attorney General tells Sheila to tell Fisk that, hey, the Attorney General wants me to become mayor. Then Fisk completely loses it. He starts beating the shit out of random civilians wearing the Daredevil masks. And basically everybody besides Powell and most of a vigilante task force, well, not even the vigilante task force, everybody but Powell, Buck, and Heather turn against Fisk. So like, even Cole North becomes like, he becomes the character that we all know from the comic books, right? So he becomes like a guy that doesn't particularly love Daredevil, but he understands why Daredevil has to be in New York, right? And then you have Jessica, Matt, and White Tiger all stopping a bunch of vigilante task force guys. You have Fisk literally beating the crap out of random civilians wearing Daredevil masks because he's so pissed off. Then it comes to a standoff between Daredevil and Kingpin, and he says, I'm not gonna try to do a voice because I can't do a voice yet, but it's a great performance from Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio because they don't fight. Their armies kind of fight, right? So Matt unintentionally, you remember when Jack Duquesne Swordsman told Daredevil, hey, you're a symbol now, you're not just a hero, right? Right? So basically what happened was Matt has like an army that he unintentionally created, and Fisk has an army that he intentionally created. But everybody on Fisk's army, besides Heather, Buck, and Buck, are against Fisk now, right? So basically what happens is you have a bunch of people like ready to kill Fisk, and they almost kill Fisk, but Daredevil is like, no, we're better than this. And then he's like, take the deal, Fisk, right? Because the deal that the Attorney General gives him is, I won't charge you, but you can never come back to New York again. You're basically deported from New York. You have to exile yourself, right? And then since Matt revealed himself as Daredevil to basically the world, Matt has to go to jail, right? Which we will talk about once I'm done talking about what the episode sets up, because that's not the only thing the episode sets up. It sets up Kingpin being exiled, right? So Kingpin's still alive, right? It sets up Matt going to jail. It also brings back Luke Cage. Now, this season 3 is bringing back the Defenders, baby. The Luke Cage cameo at the end of episode 8 of season 2 of Born Again proves that. And you guys know how I said Danielle Cage is Luke Cage and Jessica Jones' daughter? Yup. Luke Cage and Jessica Jones are together. I don't know if they're married yet, but They're together. They're raising this daughter, Danielle, and Luke and Jessica are back together at the end of the season. Heather becomes the new Muse, which I predicted, right? Daredevil going to jail, I also predicted. Going to prison, I also predicted. But there's some things I didn't predict. Like, I didn't predict them exiling Kingpin. What I thought they were going to do is have one big, epic fight. Not almost like a debate with words. Because Fisk basically realizes he lost. Right? Right? But Matt says it, like, we both love this city. We just, one of us is good, Matt, and one of us is evil, Fisk, right? In Matt's mind, right? But in Fisk's mind, Daredevil's evil and Fisk is right, right? So you literally get this great back and forth between Charlie Cox's Daredevil, Matt Murdock, and Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk. You get this great back and forth where Fisk is like pouring his heart out. I did this for you. Or, I did this for you. I saved this city. I love this city. I will keep defending this city. Then a bunch of people come up and when I say a bunch of people, I mean like a whole mob of people come up and start beating Fisk's ass. And like Daredevil stops them and is like, we're better than this. We're better than this. So then Daredevil says to Fisk, we're both done. You know both of our lives are destroyed, right? Because Daredevil has to go to jail because he just admitted to the world that Matt Murdock is Daredevil, right? So yeah, like the performances throughout the whole career of Charlie Cox as Daredevil and Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin have always been great, but I would say like this episode is top tier for both of them, right? And these performances and a lot of other things they've done, like Vincent and Charlie have both done a lot of theater in their life. You guys know what I think of theater actors. I think theater actors and theater singers are some of the best singers in the world, and they're some of the best people to learn from, right? Right? And you get better at something by studying the greats, and I think Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are two of the greats. And this episode and them playing these characters for 10 plus years proves it, right? But this episode specifically, it rules, bro. It's one of the best things the MCU has ever done. So, anyway, like, then what happens is Kingpin goes to his island that he owns because Vanessa's dead, right? So Kingpin is exiled to freedom, and Matt's still in New York, but he's in prison in New York, right? He's not free. Like, and his law license got taken away, right? So Wilson Fisk fully embraces being Kingpin. Matt Murdock fully embraces being Daredevil because the storyline that they're adapting, or one of the storylines that they're adapting for season 3, in my opinion, is a storyline called Daredevil in Cell Block D. And it is one of the best Daredevil storylines ever made. It's basically, so you guys remember, if you guys have been watching Daredevil since the very beginning, you guys know how in season 2, the Punisher's in prison and a bunch of inmates go after him, right? That's basically what Cell Block D is for Daredevil, right? So Matt's gonna be in prison for part of season 3, right? Um, Also in that storyline, which I hope they do, right? Iron Fist, Danny Rand, puts on the Daredevil suit for a bit to make people think that Matt Murdock isn't Daredevil, right? Which I don't know how they're gonna do that, because Matt literally says in the episode, "I'm Daredevil," right? So I don't know if they're gonna do that specifically, but in the Cell Block D storyline, you have Daredevil in prison, you have people that are friends with Daredevil, like Spider-Man, like Iron Fist, like Jessica, like Luke Cage. They all have to step up and defend the city, Hell's Kitchen, because Daredevil's not there, right? He's in prison, right? So that happens. Bullseye is basically working for Mr. Charles now because they kind of had Bullseye on sort of a redemption arc, and I think this is just my opinion. I think they're setting up a Dark Avengers series or something, or movie or something, because the Dark Avengers, so Thunderbolts took some of the Dark Avengers, but like the Dark Avengers is basically a covert ops Avengers team with people that aren't straight up heroes, right? So people like Bullseye, right? And basically it's a trade. Mr. Charles takes Bullseye in exchange for Luke Cage coming back to his family, Danielle and Jessica, right? And then you have Heather becoming Lady Muse, which that's from the comic book story. I think season 3 is gonna be the best use of Heather Glenn as a character on this show. Right. So that's really dope. You have you probably, not even probably, you have the Hand being introduced in Spider-Man, right? Where is Spider-Man fighting the Hand? In a prison, which probably means that we are gonna get a Daredevil Spider-Man team up. And before you guys are like, Noah, we already got a Daredevil Spider-Man team up. That was a Matt Murdock Peter Parker team up, ladies and gentlemen. That was a Matt Murdock Peter Parker team up. This team up would be Spider-Man and Daredevil teaming up to take down the Hand in Spider-Man Brand New Day, which I hope happens because that would be badass. But yeah, so that potentially could happen. What else could happen? Like, we never know, dude. We never know where Daredevil is gonna pop up next. All we know is where we're getting season 3. They're filming season 3 right now, right? And I hope this show goes for 10 years. Like, I hope Daredevil stays in the MCU for as long as Charlie Cox wants to play the character. Like, I love this version of Daredevil. You guys know that Daredevil is one of my biggest inspirations in life, right? And Daredevil and Matt Murdock have always been an inspiration to me because Matt Murdock doesn't want his disability define him. So and yeah, so for me, and they basically cement that Karen and Matt are staying together for the rest of the time that Daredevil's in the MCU. Like, Daredevil's not gonna go and be like, oh, Elektra, which I hope she comes back in season 3, but, oh, Elektra, I want to be with you. No, like, Karen and Matt are, like, they don't get married before Matt goes to jail at the end of season 2, but it gets pretty dang near close to that. So yeah, for me, this, again, this is one of the best episodes of television of all time, in my opinion, and it's one of the best. It's one of the best depictions of Daredevil that I have ever seen, right? And it's the best thing the MCU has ever done, in my opinion. So if you haven't watched Daredevil Born Again or Daredevil the original series into Born Again, you should watch all this. You should watch it all. Like, because it's so good, man. It's so good. It's so gripping. And I just got off the phone with my dad, and I said, Dad, I'm glad that both Marvel and DC are doing movies and television shows that are for specific audiences, right? Like, this Daredevil show is not for kids, right? Right? But you know what is for kids? Spider-Man. You know what is for kids? Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars, right? I like that some of the things that the MCU does is for families, like all the movies and most of the television shows. But I also like that some of the things that the MCU does are for adults, right? Because most MCU fans, like I'm almost 24 years old. In July, I'll be 24. Right. For me, I like that both Marvel and DC are doing things that everybody can watch, but they're also doing things that are specifically catered towards adults, right? Like Marvel has this Deadpool and Punisher, right? This show Daredevil Born Again, Punisher, and Werewolf by Night, and Deadpool and Wolverine. DC has Clayface and Lanterns, because Lanterns looks pretty adult as well. So I'm glad that both of these universes and both of these companies are doing things in the genres of movies and television and video games that are sometimes for all ages and sometimes for adults only, sometimes for all ages. And I think that's really cool that both Marvel and DC are doing that. So I really respect that. And also, next week, stay tuned for next week, because next Tuesday, we're getting the Punisher One Last Kill special, which I will be reviewing on this channel. And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this video, go watch this masterpiece of a series. Go watch Daredevil. Go watch Daredevil Born Again, right? Boost the ratings up, right? Go watch this show. Go watch it. Go read some Daredevil comics. Go do it all, because I want to see this character in the MCU for the next 20 years, right? So go do that. And yeah, thank you so much for all your support, and I hope you have a great day, and God bless you guys.